Hey, everybody. First of all, thanks for coming out for another Whitecloaks live stream. We are very lucky to have a group of guys joining us today. First of all, we got Zaxx and we got Prophet of the Dragon Steve, and his kid showing up for a guest appearance as well.
Apparently,
Easton.
yeah,
Easton, how's it going?
he
I
got a
guess you got
bunch of
headphones on, so
yeah, no, he got a bunch of Legos for his birthday, so he wants to build, but
nice,
he wants
nice.
me to see, so he's like, all right, I'll let go.
Anything good? What's the set?
Uh, he's got he just walked away. He got Luigi's Mansion, the big
Nice.
one,
Oh,
and then what's the other one he got?
So
Where is it? Here, give it to me real quick. You're derailing the stream already. That's what we
This
do.
is
so
par for
I
the
got
course.
the
We got
Luigi's
Daniel
Mansion
in the
entryway,
nice.
Super
That is a
Mario.
pretty slick set there.
and
Very cool. Got Daniel in the chat. Hey, thanks for
Daniel?
coming out. Always good to have you on. Either you muted yourself there, Prophet.
Yeah,
or-
sorry, I muted it because he was
Okay.
talking nonsense. And there's the other one.
yeah, and then
You should
I also
have
got
left him on for that. That's par for the course for us.
Well, me too. So yeah, he's gonna be busy.
Well, sweet. And then, like I said, we got Zaxx on. Zaxx is another great content creator. First time coming on with us over here on Whitecloaks. So introduce yourself and whatever to the one person who might watch this who doesn't already know who you are.
All right. Yeah. So my name's Kyle. You call me Zaxx. I do content on, I guess, Lord of the Rings stuff, random stuff, whatever I think is going to be funny. Started off by making fun of Wheel of Time, just like you guys did, and trying to do it in such a way that people I was making fun of didn't quite get that I was making fun of them. A little bit of some stealth jokiness, and
Sometimes
so I
not as hard as you would think, based on who we're dealing with.
exactly. They loved the videos, and I was literally like making fun of that character with that video, and they're like, "Oh, that's so nice. Oh, she's so brave." Yeah, she sure is.
Mission accomplished, sir.
That was naive. So yeah, so yeah, I just take it now. I do live streams on Thursdays, on Salty Channel on Tuesdays, and with you guys now.
Nice. Prophet, we're gonna throw you up on the big screen here. I should have done that with Zaxx. That's my bad. I'm a bad showrunner. Prophet, you're up next. Tell people what you're up to.
What am I up to? Well, I'm here. I don't even know what I'm up to. I know I'm getting another since the intro came off so well and everybody seems to like it. I'm getting a countdown thing for streams made next. Hopefully,
Nice.
in negotiations for that right now. But
I do like the kind of heavy metal rock thing that you've been going.
I'm trying. Well, that'll go in front maybe. I don't know. It depends how long it's going to be. But yeah. So that, and then just sort of keep my eye out for things here and there. There's still a few projects like that I have written down that I'd like to get to. I would like to eventually cover Primal on HBO and Adult Swim, but time has been escaping me. But yeah, the normal stuff will show up, especially when an article that pops up out of nowhere that pisses me off. We'll always have those. And then I just posted my National Treasure thing because they're destroying National Treasure, which pisses me off.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit today too if we get the time. Vic Rattlehead is on, and apparently just recovering from COVID. So glad to have you on. Glad that you're getting better, and hey, glad. I think all of us are probably glad if our stuff has in any way helped you have a smile on.
Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah,
buddy.
for sure. Let's see which one of these. There we go. Let's see. You got the new intro video that came out, and you're doing your normal stuff, trying to work in. You work like weird schedules for work and stuff, right?
Yeah. No, I've already had to they're wondering what's going on in my life because I keep asking for weird segments of time off. So I'm supposed to work the evening shift tomorrow, but I'm like, dude, it's the season finale of Better Call Saul. I'm not missing that with Notorio. I've done the whole season. I'm like, you either need to schedule another shift or I need off tomorrow. And they're like, I'm like, that's it. That's all you need to know. One or the other. So I'm working the morning, so we're good. But it's like, and then of course August is full of birthdays. So it's like But my schedule is, you see, I think I don't know if, I think everybody here has seen my work schedule. It is literally all over the place. So I'm glad I'm able to make any videos.
Yeah. Hey, real quick idea. Zaxx, Alex, have either of you guys watched Better Call Saul?
Yes. Phenomenal show.
Okay. I love Breaking Bad. I never watched a single episode of Better Call Saul.
What's wrong with you?
I just honestly, I thought the show ended kind of a while ago, and then I saw that you and Nerdporio were watching stuff, and I was just like, that show's still on.
It's still on
Pips.
and amazing. Sorry. Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
I'm with Pips on this one. I watched the entire series, and then I watched the first 2 episodes of Breaking Bad, and I'm like, prequels bug me. Now I get that this is like a thing where it's much better than the show and it's well written and it does go somewhere. And so I've tried to go back since then and watch it because I trust you guys and you love it. So, but then it's such a steep hill to climb now to get caught up to where you are that it's like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. Plus being married, it's a negotiation on what you're going to watch. And so if I want to put that on the table to watch, I have to give up a lot. So,
you got to watch Sex and the City.
I was going to say Vampire Diaries.
Pretty much. Yes, that's right. Yeah, or Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's exactly what I was going to say. Interview with the Vampire. That I can almost guarantee you're watching that show, aren't you?
You're going to have to watch First Kill.
No, didn't have to watch First Kill. I don't think she knows about First Kill, and I'm not going to bring it up.
I don't think anyone knew about First Kill. I think the only time, am I the only one who only heard about it when it was canceled? And I was like, oh, well, cool.
I still don't know what you're talking about, so I'll call myself.
Isn't that the great point of where we're at now? There are now so many shrieking SJW shows that I only learn about them when they start shrieking about their cancellation. Like, what a great place to be.
It's nice, yeah.
You know what? With that one, I had seen it, like I'd heard of it only because I thought, what's this new lesbian show? And then I'm like, I don't actually care about this at all. So I didn't watch it, but I did see the thumbnail of it on Netflix at one point and thought about clicking on it, but didn't.
All right, so Daniel's with me and Zaxx, I think, but the framing device you used there, what's this new lesbian show? Isn't that the complaint that they said, like, you only advertised this as a lesbian show? That's why we were canceled. And then if you read the more statements that the the sort of the showrunner or whatever made, you're like, no, I think you would have been canceled regardless. Like,
I read that, Pips. I read that, dude, and she's like, this is the show that everyone else who aren't lesbians or whatever need to watch. Like, I don't need to watch anything, and you're not teaching me a goddamn thing.
Yeah, the statements about how straight white people need to see this, and you're just like, no. I already know that I don't need to see that.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, talking about shows that people need to see, ? Is maybe a good lead into what we're gonna do here. So
Better Call Saul.
We'll throw this together over here and see what you guys think. So this one. First story I got up here is from the Hollywood Reporter. It came out just a couple days ago, so some of you guys may have already seen this. It's not super surprising content, but title here, Lord of the Rings TV writers say that the show is not just, quote, vaguely connected to Tolkien, which before we went live here, Prophet was like, hey, that's kind of a weird way to say that.
Yeah. Vaguely connected. It sounds similar to not connected at all.
Yeah. So the context for the title is that so there was the TV Critics Association semi-annual press tour this last Friday, so just a few days ago, and apparently a reporter, and this is the most shocking part of the story to me, a journalist asking a question. A reporter called the highly anticipated fantasy show, debatable, only vaguely connected to author J.R.R. Tolkien's work compared to the Lord of the Rings movie, which were based on actual printed materials. Man, I like this reporter so much. I need to find out who asked this.
Yeah, right.
Just based.
What's that like to ask a question as a reporter? No.
Oh, man, I mean, it must be like a new thing that they're trying out.
People must glare at you from across. You're like, what are you doing? You're ruining this for us.
Maybe they don't
We had a
have
good
enough
thing going.
people. Maybe they don't have enough people in the audience to like actually have like show questions. So they're just like, okay, you look sort of like you might be harmless. Let's ask you a question. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh no.
I like how the Hollywood Reporter is so corporate whipped that they won't even give the guy's name for us to look him up.
Yep, there it is.
Can you
Honestly.
imagine like the journalistic practices of saying a reporter, not a person? Like, just give up the goat already. Stop pretending to be an actual like magazine or newspaper.
That's true. They don't even have like the sort of hyperlink on the word, like, you know, when a reporter. So you can't even like click it and see that reporter's. So this is a report on another reporter. And yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, so the story kind of heats up here when Patrick McKay, one of the two showrunners, right? I just want to sort of quibble with vaguely connected.
I think we all would like to quibble with that.
Sort of quibble. Like, shouldn't you be like, no, it's not vaguely connected. It's extremely well connected in the roots. It's like sort of quibble. Like, wow, that's an alpha answer if I've ever heard one. What a Chad that guy is. Sort of quibble.
He is definitely like, what's the strongest statement I can make without later being accused of lying?
You're a dumb head. Whoever asked that. Next question. Like,
yeah. So Rosie Gamgee, we got in the chat. Hey, thanks for coming on. And let's see. Where does he go from there? Oh yeah, here we go. So this is where he really gets into the meat of his argument. So him, JD Payne, we don't feel that way. So we don't feel vaguely connected. We feel like deep roots of this show are in the books and in Tolkien. And if we didn't feel that way, we'd all be terrified to sit up here. We feel this story isn't ours. It's a story we're stewarding that was here before us and is waiting in the books to be on Earth. We don't feel vaguely connected. We feel deeply rooted, connected to the folks and the work every day to be even closer and connected. That's really how we think about it. So like that would be a good answer if we hadn't seen the last couple months, right?
Sure. I also think that he didn't say the quiet part, which was, I'm scared now that there may be an actual reporter in the crowd here today.
Oh, I think this story has that part coming up.
Okay.
I think,
All right,
I think whenever I see them say the word stewarding, I think of Lord Denethor and how he's went completely insane and ignored everything that's going on around him and then jumped to his death.
So it's like that's in a weird way. In the movie.
Talk about not knowing your audience. Like the word steward has essentially been poisoned by the Peter Jackson trilogy.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I immediately connect. It's like steward. That's not a good connection to be making here, guys. What are you doing?
Oh, is it Denethor, right?
Yeah, Lord Denethor freaking jumps off the building. Yeah. At least Faramir's all right. Right, he's a good dude. Whatever.
Faramir was a good dude. I liked Faramir. He was he's a flawed person, but he was pretty good. I think on Fire of the Fandom, or rather the Fire of Fandom, right, from Salty Texas Sea, I think there's been at least one or maybe two people who have picked Faramir as their character. Is that right?
I believe there were a couple. There were a couple Boromirs. A couple Aragorns.
For sure. All right, so here's where he immediately walks back that, which, like, first of all, are any of you guys convinced at all by that answer?
No.
All I can picture is Payne and McKay jumping off the top of Minas Tirith. That's it. That's it. So no, not convinced.
Yeah. So
I think what he's saying is that he's going to keep up with that charade as long as possible. That's kind of what he's saying there.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. All right. So then he goes, "This is Tolkien's Middle Earth." True. I'm not sure why you wouldn't think that we would know that. And regions beyond Middle Earth. We just wanted to be true to that and sort of drown out and forget about what might be happening in another realm someplace else. So this is where he's talking about other fantasy shows that are coming out, I think. And then Tolkien's work is endlessly applicable. There's that word. Across cultures and across times, we feel really grateful to be able to bring it to life in our time. So applicable. I think, man, Disparu has wrecked on that term applicable.
Yep.
And they just keep trotting it out. I mean,
Well, because it's their script, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's the script they have in front of them. We got to use the same words over and over and over again. How many times have they said we're stewarding this? How many times have we said
Yeah.
applicable? How many times have we said this, that, and the other? They're repeating the same terms over and over and over again because they're robots and they have no feelings. But they're the greatest guys ever. Remember when we heard about how great those two guys are?
Yeah.
yeah.
When they flew all the shills out.
Gadfly's in the chat. Thanks for coming out. So his response to the question of asking about empirical evidence for connections is that he has feelings. Yep. Yes. Let's see. Vic Rattlehead. Yeah, it might be that terrible. See, just trying to pull up some of the chat here as I've been going through the article. Fair. I'm not gonna touch that much. Hey, Lyle's here. Lyle, so how are you feeling, Lyle? I know you've probably been our resident most sort of optimistic about the show. What do you think?
Maybe
He's been
we'll
pretty laid up
you.
lately, so yeah.
Yeah, he got. I know he got hurt, so he's recovering. So I hope you're feeling better, Lyle. I think sounds like you're on the mend. So glad you're here, buddy.
Yeah, good to have you back in here, and hopefully, like I said, that you're keeping the faith and all that.
I just want to say one thing to the chat, quick, if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Happy birthday, Megs! Happy birthday weekend extravaganza from Megs.
Oh, nice!
I didn't even see Mags show up. Hi, Mags. Happy birthday again.
Yes, every day.
Mags has the longest birthday ever. So,
yep, she's earned it.
Yes, she has. Agreed.
Daniel's trying to do the communist thing, it looks like, and just reappropriate my stuff. I'm gonna hide that one real quick before anyone gets ideas. Oh man. So I don't know. I feel like this has been played out so much. It's just, he's going on about how they're trying to say that everything has such a distinct feel. Like, oh yeah, she's the queen regent of an island kingdom. We're trying to really make that into a thing. They go on to talk about practical set design and all that stuff. So Numenor is a fully built, fully functional city with docks and boats and other elements. Like, they're really trying to distract people, I think, from the actual story that they're telling. I mean, if you guys watch the teaser, trailer / teasers that they've been putting out, does anybody actually know the story that we're going to see or anything approaching it?
There's a comet.
Not directly, but there's you can infer it if you've read Silmarillion or Unfinished Tales. It's going to be awful.
It's a comet. That's it.
The skies are strange. I know that.
Yeah. Purple Valkyrie's in the chat. Hey, Purple, how's it going? I don't know. I think that it's weird to have a show that is coming out in like a couple of weeks, right? And like have no real idea what it's about. But I don't know. I mean, let me ask the chat here and you guys as well. How many of you guys are planning on watching this for any purpose other than, like, for those of us who are kind of in the shot here, like probably putting out content related to it, right? How many people in the chat are actually planning on watching this for like entertainment purposes?
That's a big term.
It's entertainment purposes. Well, I mean, it's like, I think I don't want to speak for the chat, but for me, obviously, I think if all of us here we're content creators, so I think it would be silly of us not to cover it on some form. I'm obviously not an expert, but I'll cover it just as a sort of a normie, excuse me, streamer brain. But I pretty much plan on watching it through some of those other, if hopefully EFAP does it, I'll just watch it through them, and then I'll have my critique, of whatever it is. But that's how I've been watching a lot of these terrible shows. Is just you watch it through other people's content because it's just the commentary is better than what they're saying.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that comes out that the only interaction that I have with these days is watching, the Critical Drinker or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody said something along the lines of, "I'm entertained, but I watch it because it's an important thing to our culture, and I would feel remiss in my duties if I didn't watch important elements of our culture be vandalized." Like, if you knew somebody was going to spray paint the Mona Lisa, you'd probably show up to watch it happen, right? Like, to see that nobody's going to stop them. They're just going to be allowed to do so. But yeah, that's kind of how I would be feeling about this one. I'd be watching it, but I would be hate watching it.
For me, for this, I'm going to do my best, which is going to be very difficult, to go in watching it to try to be objective in case it's good, so that at least I've given it a chance. And I would still, as much as it's so easy to hate this thing because all they've shown us is stuff to hate, like exclusively stuff to hate, I still want to watch it. And if it's good, I'm going to say it's good, even if people are pissed about that. I'm not expecting that to happen, but if it does happen, I want to try to be honest about that. And one thing I found recently on YouTube, and no one specific, but people are reviewing stuff they've never watched. And I feel like if I'm going to talk about something, I should probably have at least seen it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Another plug for Salted Texas Sea, Fire the Fandom. So Alex has already had his come out. Prophet, I've seen you on a couple of other people's. I don't think yours has come out yet, has it? You got yourself muted, I think.
Sorry, I was typing. My bad. I did want. I think I was actually the first one to do one, so it's probably not the best interview, but it's in there somewhere. He's got people that are much more seasoned and probably giving him much more better responses than I did. But yes, there is one in there of me doing that. So eventually,
and I've watched all of them, so I need to go back and apparently watch it again if I forgot one. But I just did an interview with him. I don't know when it's going to get posted. And Zaxx, what you said is kind of what I said in part, at least, which was that, like, I don't think anyone would be happier than those of us who are big fans of Lord of the Rings, of Tolkien. None of us would be happier than if it was a great success and we were all wrong. We just have such low expectations that that's the case. So we're hating on it because the expectation, not that we hope that it's bad. And I think that is a key distinction to bring up.
Well, and the problem is now in all these, we're always right. That's the thing that's bad. We have not been wrong yet. Is we go in saying this is going to be bad, this is going to be bad, and guess what? It's terrible. It's worse than we even thought. So we don't have an opportunity to go, wow, okay, that was a lot better than I thought. That's awesome. Like, so we had that opportunity hasn't afforded itself yet. We're always correct. We see the signs. We have a lot of smart people looking at what's being posted, breaking down stuff, looking at trailers, and finding all these things that are wrong with it. And then we say looks like it's going to be terrible. And then guess what? It is. We haven't had the opposite happen yet, where we're all wrong. I would love to be once. I would love to be.
Yeah.
I'll own it. I was wrong about Arcane. I thought Arcane was going to be shit.
Really?
It was awesome.
It
took me a few watches for Arcane to appreciate it. I didn't like it my first roundabout for something about it, but then I watched it again. I'm like, okay, I get it.
So I knew nothing of Arcane until, again, actually, I think the Critical Drinker's review of it was what got me to go watch it. I didn't even know that it was a thing, didn't know it was out. And then he did a review of it and said, like, you should go watch this. So I only had good expectations for it, have no knowledge or sort of past with the IP that it's based off of. Just a quick question, Alex. Why did you think it was going to suck? Just because of other things you had seen, or was there something kind of like we're looking at Rings of Power, where as it came out you had concerns?
It had a 5'5", 110-pound woman with pink hair and a side shave beating the shit out of people. Like, that can serve as the exception to the rule, but in my experience, that rule is pretty damn solid.
Fair play. Yeah, okay. I think we kind of beat up the Rings of Power. I mean, it's coming out in a few weeks. I don't know if we're gonna see. First of all, do you guys think there's gonna be another trailer that'll come out between now and then that will actually reveal some aspect of the plot and the story, or do you think we've gotten about what we're gonna get?
They don't want you to know what the plot is.
No, well, I'm pretty sure they even listed this recent trailer as final trailer everywhere. I think it says
Really?
it's listed. I think. Now, I'm not 100% sure that it's like from the source, but I've seen a few places where it says Rings of Power final trailer. So I don't know if that's that's it, but I don't think they want another trailer out, not with all the response they've been getting. I mean, right now everything they release gets downvoted, 4-1. I mean, yeah, I don't think they want that. At this point, they've got so much negative attention. Do they want any more?
You guys think Yeah, sorry. Go.
I was gonna say unless they know this is good and someone else has told them it's good, because they don't have the sense to tell the difference, they probably shouldn't put something else out. But like the Entertainment Weekly stuff they just put out, like who said that was going to be good?
Is that
so
all
they don't have
motion
common
torture?
sense, right? Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And Richard participating in the Hate Watch, and good to have you on. Thanks for coming out and supporting. And Lyle, as always, is our lone sort of still hopeful individual. It seems like, but he doesn't think we're getting another trailer either. Do you guys think that they're doing any? So obviously they're not doing reshoots. Do you think they're doing re-edits or recuts, or are they doing anything to try and fix some of the problems that fans have had? Do you think?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think they gotta have something in the can. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those. How are they releasing it?
Editing.
How are they releasing it? Is it going out at Amazon style of the first 3 episodes, then we get the rest, or is it one at a time? Do we know how it's releasing? Because that may happen after a first, like if they get a terrible response from a first episode, maybe they'll do it from there. But I mean, I don't know.
I read an article that said that, and I can't remember. I know that they're not doing an 8-episode drop, right? They are doing weekly releases. I don't remember the first week. Any of you guys in the chat or Zaxx, you got anything on it?
I think it's weekly drops too.
Okay.
And in terms of like, are they fixing it? I doubt it. I've been doing some joke videos. My second one's coming out tonight about my new organization called Reinterpreting Toking, and so I'm going to do that for them for a little bit until at least it comes out.
Nice. All right. Well, that'll let's move on to the next topic we got here, guys, which is going to be House of the Dragon. Which, while I'm pulling this up, do any of you guys plan on watching this?
I'm gonna watch it. Partially because me and Nerdporial are sort of transitioning from Better Call Saul into that. So that's an interesting ad. Good ad there. I didn't read any of the article yet, but sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just looking at the right side. I'm just looking at the right side of the screen. Sorry.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, so me and Nerdporial are going to transition into reviewing House of the Dragon together. So, just because that's the newest thing, and we want, we enjoy, the back and forth we have when it comes to reviewing something. So, hopefully, it's good. I wish people would shut the hell up, because, while the trailer was like, oh, okay, maybe this could be, everything looks pretty tight and looks good. Got dragons look good, the armor looks good, and then people open their damn mouths.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming Zaxx, Alex, you've been watching this stuff as it kind of comes out as well, right?
Yeah. So the one thing that I think I will watch at least the first episode of House of the Dragon is, talk about having just massive balls to wait until Rings of Power declares their premiere date, and then just saying, ours is going to be better. We're doing 1 week before that. Like,
Yeah, head to head,
Yeah.
almost, right? Head to head, which would be
Like,
great. If, like, man, do you remember when you had to when that happened and you had to decide what show you're going to watch on DVR and which one you're going to watch live? I remember those days.
what was it, like 2011 with like Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones?
Oh, yes.
Like
Yeah.
there was a banger of a year there where there were like 4 or 5 things that were must watches, and then now,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm gonna watch this. You know, I mean, I have an HBO. What is it? HBO Plus, HBO Go, whatever it is.
HBO
Max. I think it's Max now, right?
Yeah, it's
I have an
Max.
HBO Max account, so like I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna check it out. I would say I'm kind of with you that until some of the producer, showrunner, cast started talking about it, I was like, well, visually it looks pretty good. Um, Obviously, some people have had some criticisms of aspects of the visuals that we've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. The part that concerned me the most about the trailer we saw was the line about like they'd do anything to stop a woman from getting on the Iron Throne. I think something like that. And that is actually the thing that concerns me the most. I'm like, man, if that's the story that we're getting, like this is going to be silly, right? Like it's just going to be nonsense. What do you guys think?
I think that we've got Sporting News Network now, not podcast, in the chat here. Hey, Scott, who is a Game of Thrones expert as well. For me, that line is annoying. It really frustrates me, and I've been a big fan since the books before the series. Like I've been there the whole time. I was one of the people waiting 9 years for Dance with Dragons, and so I've been there.
Yeah.
I have books like this one, The World of Ice and Fire, that I was
nice.
a sucker enough to buy, I guess. And so I've been there from the beginning. And so I'm going to watch this and try to be hopeful. I'll put that back up. Be hopeful about it as much as I can. But that line does bother me, except for if you know the story, it's true. And they should have stopped them from being involved in the throne because they got everyone killed. Spoiler alert. The whole story is the two women using the men to try to get their own personal gain. One was for her son, but in general, they destroyed that entire house, those two ladies fighting over it. So,
I just want to bring up Lyle's comment here. Sounds like he's got to go out. He says he's got to go get a CT scan. So, hey, Lyle, best of luck. Hope that the scan results come back positive, and everybody's pulling for you. So, hope you get good results, feeling better, all that kind of stuff.
Hang in there, Lyle.
Yeah.
There's actually, Ann Richards occasionally brings this up, and it is, at what point do we declare something fan fiction, even if it's written by the original author? And I don't know, Zach, sort of how you feel about this, but certainly didn't strike me as Martin's best work. Sort of seemed like he'd kind of started drinking the Kool-Aid here. And so I guess that's sort of what is almost helping me with the House of the Dragon show, is that, this isn't something like Tolkien where he's ruining something fantastic and, wonderful. If they want to ruin the 10th best George R.R. Martin book.
Yeah.
All right. Go nuts, guys. I don't care.
And that's if you didn't read Wild Cards.
Yeah.
So speaking of this chat from Daniel here about Martin not being immune from modern sensibilities. So yeah, he's signing off on this stuff, and we got some articles to talk about with him. So what do you guys think of the title here? House of the Dragon won't have a loved Arya Stark type character, and this is from Martin. So that's not really a quote, but like a paraphrase of a quote that's in the article here. And this is just a couple hours old, by the way, from I think originally from Game Rant.
Looks like it. Yeah, I don't know. That's not the person I'm picking out to be a loved character myself.
Yeah, first of all, was she a loved character?
Not
she
by
was up to season 4-ish. Yeah. I'll be honest, it's been a minute since I watched through that. Season 8 kind of killed it for me. But I think at one point she was, but I do think it's almost a sign that they're out of touch, that they think she was post, season 6 or whenever it was.
Yeah.
But I guess I could view this as a positive if I put on my shill goggles and said, okay, what this means is that they're not going to protect somebody like a Daenerys. They're not going to protect somebody like an Arya. If they should die, they're going to die. However, does anybody believe that's actually the case? I mean, does anybody believe that the sort of the two, amatriarchal lineal heads aren't going to be, clad in plot armor so strong nothing will ever punch through it?
Lyle. No, I think you're 100% right. I think that there's still going to be the directors and the producers' favorite character. I think the point you made about her not being super well liked later, like if I was to think of characters that everybody liked, I would be thinking of, and we talked about this a little bit before going live, right? So like the Onion Knight, I think that Brahm was pretty much universally liked. I think Tyrion was pretty much universally liked.
Yeah,
I don't think I would pick Arya.
A lot of Tywin too, Tywin Lannister. There's a whole bunch of them, and then it's like Alex brought up. Until most of the characters were pretty well liked up until a certain point in the series where they just trashed them. But to single out Arya, who I think even if you had a group of people that really liked Arya Stark, the minute she stabbed the man, I don't know. I want to say Ice King, but you know what I'm talking
about.
Night King.
The Night King. There you go. The minute she stabbed the Night King in the heart and killed him and stole Jon Snow's showdown, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but a vast majority of the people went right to hating her character completely because he didn't deserve that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that had she used her multi-face ability to get in close and kill the queen, that would have been awesome. People would have loved that. But that was the Night King was not her kill, and she didn't earn it in any way, and didn't use the ability she spent the entire series developing to do so. She just dropped the knife and caught it. That's it.
Yep. No, you're right. If she used her many-face ability, snuck in and killed Cersei. Cersei was her kill. So the roof stole Arya's kill, and Arya stole Jon Snow's kill, and you're putting her out front and center, like, oh, hey, everybody liked her because she's the hero. It's like, no, you screwed her up.
They caught TLJ disease. They needed to subvert everybody's expectations, and what better way to subvert everybody's expectations than putting everybody on a wheel, identifying their arch nemesis, and spinning the wheel 90 degrees and just matching up with wherever you land at.
Yeah, well, it's also one of those things. If you want me to believe for a second that's how George R.R. Martin wrote it, you are high.
Well, let's be honest. George R.R. Martin didn't write it, and probably never will at this point.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Roman in the Empire brings up he wishes Snoop Dogg was in it because of the ad that I have on display there. Which, speaking of Snoop Dogg and things and streaming shows, have you guys seen the Zombie Hunter movie that just released on, I think, Netflix with Snoop Dogg and Jamie Foxx and I don't know, there's a couple other people.
No,
it's called The Day Shift, I think.
Yep. Okay.
I watched it with my wife just the other day because she had said she wanted to see it. It's like a comedy zombie hunter sort of movie. It was pretty entertaining. It sounds like, Alex, did you watch it?
I did not. The reason that it every time I see the commercial it makes me smile though is I can just literally imagine Netflix like looking at the Disney Plus schedule and going, okay, so Disney and Marvel are making Blade. So we need to make a made in Taiwan version of Blade that releases before Blade.
And cast Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it was a fun watch. If you guys have Netflix and you're looking for something that is not woke nonsense, like it was pretty good. It had none of the politics stuff in it at all. It was just an entertaining zombie comedy movie. So worth a watch.
Cool.
Pretty decent effects, some decent fight scenes. There's one woman who played like a female vampire, and I think I said zombie in some of these. Sorry guys, vampires. Played a female vampire, and her fighting was pretty rough. Like, it was clear that it was shot very slow and sped up and like bad. But everybody else's was really, actually, it was fun, pretty fast paced, entertaining. So
cool.
All right. Yeah, I don't have anything else for this article other than the fact that they're basically telegraphing up front that their characters are going to be worse than the characters in the original show. Like,
of course they're worse. Like, this book isn't as good, and these characters aren't as good, and it's a prequel story already, so we know how it's going to end. And there are cool characters in it. There's cool moments in the book. It's just that it's not up to the level of what he'd built previously, and they screwed that up. So for me, I'm more hopeful on this. I think, and in this, if I'm being honest, part of it is because Rings of Power looks so bad that this kind of gets a bit of a pass.
Yes, that's exactly right. I agree.
Honestly. Alex, do you think that was part of their timing play?
100%. 100%.
They were watching Rings of Power just get wrecked, and they were like, we can slide in right under the radar. We can release this.
I mean, I think they're going to do everything but put out a trailer saying, "Hey, fantasy fans, do you hate Rings of Power? Update your HBO membership because we have an alternative.
We have a less bad fantasy adaptation than that."
Honestly, I'm going to say this. If they just made that advertisement, like, you say that as a joke, if they just came out with saying, like, do you hate everything Amazon is doing? Come over to HBO and watch Game of Thrones.
You're right.
The House of the Dragon. I would be like, I'm 100% now watching this.
You're right. And if they said, and there's probably going to be boobs, and there's supposed to be boobs in the story, so it's all good, guys. Come watch.
And boobs and dragons. Come join us. Boobs and dragons. Let's go.
I have terrible news for you. No boobs.
What? I thought there was an article that came out a while ago saying that there was like too many sex scenes in the show.
In the original Game of Thrones.
No.
There better be at least a boob or side boob, something.
Something.
Man.
That's all fantasy fans want nowadays, right? Just give us some side boob, like just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just an interesting story about like how closely they're keeping this under wraps. So one of the actresses talking about the casting, basically saying that they were sent a scene from the original Game of Thrones. Names were changed. Weren't even told the title of the show. So it was like a very kind of secretive, process, which like makes sense. But apparently the actual script was given to people afterwards. So like the people signing up for it never saw the script of what they were signing up for. But some of the actors have come out and said like, yeah, but when I did see the script, I was pretty surprised and excited by it. Just kind of going back to what I was saying before, that like, I'm willing to give this one, the first couple episodes to prove to me that it's good. Game of Thrones for the first few seasons was so strong that like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm going to be watching it anyway, so I'm going to give it a fair shake. I need something to be good. Fantasies aren't nothing. They haven't done it yet. I need one. Just give me one. Just so it's like I'm sort of. It looks less. If I ignore all of the actors saying all the stupid things that they're saying, and just look at the trailer that I got for that, I can look at that and go, okay, this could be a decent show. Forget about now I have to compartmentalize, Game of Thrones sucking, George R. Martin being a tool, and all the actors saying stupid things. But if I can do that and just, focus on the trailer that would have been okay if nobody said anything else, then it's like, okay, maybe this can be good. But I don't know. I'm going to try and give it a shot, but it's hard at this point. They're making it hard. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, isn't that the modern fantasy adaptation? It's, it's like sitting down to dinner with a really hot woman who's just really dumb. And you're just kind of like, please shut up. Like,
And actors aren't necessarily smart, so
No.
they're not being hired
Gosh.
for that. And
we were talking about that, previously. It's like, who has made these actors think that anybody wants to hear their thoughts on literally anything? It's like most of you guys are like high school dropouts that are not qualified to talk on any topic. Like tell me about the, how you prepared for the role, and tell me about, the script and the costuming, and tell me about the show itself. All of that's fair game. But if you start telling me about, peace in the Middle East, or, sort of a working minimum wage, or whatever politics of the day you want to talk about, like, you are the least qualified person. You being here, you just won the lottery. You're rich because you won the lottery. Nothing differentiates you from any other actor who didn't make it, other than you lucked out. It's so frustrating.
I actually disagree. I almost think it's worse, in that if you're going to be a big named actor on something like Game of Thrones, you are coming from a family that has other actors in it. You went to one of the British Screen Academies. So this isn't just a high school dropout lecturing at you. This is a high school dropout lecturing at you who came from a family of extraordinarily wealthy people. Like, it's not just ignorance, it's also hypocrisy. Like,
can we say that it's the combination of privilege plus power?
Go for it.
I have a theory or some thoughts on this. It's not too crazy conspiracy, but I think a lot of it is probably true, where they don't like to pay actors anymore. And so they get these actors to come do this job, and they say, well, we're not really going to pay you a ton. You're not going to be rich, but you're going to have a platform for your all of your Activision. And don't you care about Activision and forests or whatever? Like, that's so, yeah, we don't pay a ton, but you'll have, this is your platform to say what you want, which is, I think all these actors so many of them seem to be activists, but Tom Cruise, he's not an activist. He's getting paid.
Yep.
And how short-sighted.
He's not an activist.
True. Yep.
How short-sighted would that be? Like, you're making a, we'll use Rings of Power here. You're making a $500 million show, and you're like, I'm not going to pay these actors anything, but I am going to let them go to every single news outlet and actively torpedo my fucking $500 million show.
Yeah, I agree.
So stupid.
Yeah. But they keep doing it. Like, they keep putting them out there. So, I mean,
it's just insanity, isn't it? It's exactly right, Zaxx. They just keep doing it. Learn. It's like a learning robot. Just learn, robot. Learn. It's like, what is it?
Daniel, that is twisted and dark and potentially true. I don't know. We'll leave it.
Yeah.
There's this the line that we talked about, by the way. So, men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend to the Iron Throne. And I think, Zaxx, you brought up that, like, there's nothing inherently wrong with that as the sort of IP goes. Like, that's correct for in-world, right?
Well, it is ish. Like, there's they're close to the throne, but it's not because they're women entirely. And you also, like, I try to keep it in context of these are two characters talking to each other. We're taking it as they're talking to us, but
it's because of the highlight, right? So that's the point that I was going to make, that if this is a line in the show, no problem, kind of like you're saying, but it's a line in the trailer.
Yeah, I hear you there for sure. It's being put there for a purpose, but these two women were they're like they brought down, like, there's a reason that the Targaryens fell, and they're a big part of it. So that's the thing. They probably should have kept them more out of the way, but they didn't.
Yeah,
but not because they're women.
Well, I mean, doesn't this entire thing functionally kick off with the old king trying to put his stepdaughter on the throne? Like, that's the impetuous of the story, is a man trying to put a woman on the throne. So, I mean, it doesn't even make sense within the backstory.
His first daughter, he has a second wife, and then the son, and so that's where the conflict comes. in, and so his daughter, his first wife, is initially going to be the heir. Then there's controversy because he has another wife who has a son, and that's where it all kicks off.
Yeah, I'm going into this
wasn't,
cold.
Wasn't his preference the daughter? Like, wasn't the declaration that the daughter would be the heir? Yeah. Okay. It's been a minute since I've read it, so
well, I'm going in completely cold, so I have no knowledge of the book at all. So it's like we'll see from that standpoint. I know Nerdporio is going to read it, so we're going to have a nice little back and forth that way. But I know nothing about the book. I've done that on purpose, and we'll just see what we get on screen and how it relates.
Have you read the rest of the series though?
Yeah, I got through Feast of Crows and stopped. Okay. Feast of Crows was not my favorite, and then it took so long for Dance with Dragons to come out. I was just like, it's like, and then he's never going to finish it, so I just was like, well, what's the point? What's the point? Yeah. I could catch up on Dance with Dragons, but why? There's a million things I have not read, and there's a million things I can reread that I enjoy. Restarting Mistborn and getting ready for Lost Metal to come out. I'd rather do that than read a series that's never going to finish.
Loyal, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying you'll watch again later. Good, have a good time at work.
Yes.
I totally agree with you. I have a really hard time recommending either Game of Thrones or the Name of the Wind, that Kingkiller Chronicles, because of the same thing. Like I'm convinced that neither series will ever be finished, and which is a shame because I really liked reading both of them. Right, so Kingkiller Chronicles is getting an adaptation though at some point, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the word on the street. I never read Kingkiller Chronicles, but that's the word. The fantasy race is on, guys. Like we've talked
Alex's
about,
we've
all talked about it. We've all talked about it. It's one of those and it's one of those like I didn't get to talk to you about Sanderson. I'd still like to maybe even on my channel talk about Sanderson. My hair is doing.
Yeah.
But Sanderson. I wish and Zaxx has said this. I know Zaxx has said it multiple times. Zaxx is absolutely 100% correct. Sanderson just said, "Screw off, all of you. I'm gonna do it myself. You guys can't touch my property. I'm gonna make my own studio. I'm gonna crowdfund that bitch. And guess what? Yeah. If he put up a Kickstarter right now and said, help me adapt my stuff, just Mistborn, he would have $100 million in that Kickstarter almost instantly. I could almost guarantee it. But I he didn't do it that way, and I don't know why, and it makes me afraid of it because everybody is just picking up fantasy IPs right now because that's the flavor of the day.
I'm gonna hold judgment on how he did or didn't do it until we get an official announcement. And we talked about this on our last live stream.
Sure.
The statements that he's made in the past about the level of creative control that he wants, and how. I mean, he knows how valuable he is, and he knows how valuable his IP is, right? So, like,
I would hope so. Yeah.
I got to imagine, especially after seeing the Wheel of Time, which I know a lot of people didn't like, how much he did or didn't say about the Wheel of Time, but I think that it's clear to me, at least, watching him and his reactions, that he did not like it and did not like what they did with it, but it was just too nice of a person to say very much about it, and was too interested in getting his own stuff done. Yes. And like, I can't really hate on the guy for it. So
it's hard to, yeah.
I got to imagine that he's doing a fairly high level of creative control. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping, yes. Well, because I know he's wrote scripts and all that. He's got scripts that he sent out. So I'm hoping he realizes that he has the key to the kingdom. He can probably request anything he wants. I want to write the script. That's it. I want to be on set. That's it. You don't want to do me those two things? I'll go to the next studio. There's like 18 of them waiting.
And that's one of the things that he said in the past. So it sounds like he wanted to do movies over TV. But if he was going to do TV, he said that he would want to be a co-creator and he would want to write some of the episode scripts himself. Yeah. And like that level of hands-on, like that inspires a little bit of hope. But, hey, we'll see.
I like that. I thought that it'd be cool to see him. I mean, he's the one guy to me who could easily do it if he wanted to, and that was based on his previous Kickstarter, which was unbelievably successful. And so I think he could probably do it. And in the same way that Young Rip is doing it now, even if you don't care about whatever the story is in its comic, you want to support it because someone had to do that. And so if he's going to use that as leverage to get what he wants from a studio, I think that's great, and it could be a fantastic show. And if he's in charge, he probably won't let it be bad. It's just I would have liked to have seen someone just do it, just once.
Could you imagine Dragonsteel Studios or Cosmere Studios or something? I mean, he's got his own con. I mean, can you just imagine him making a studio for and then just adapting his own stuff, but then just giving other fantasy creators an outlet to try and make their own stuff that they're not getting a chance to do.
That would be the thing that I would really want to see. Like if you were saying that he was going to make his own studio, that's the thing that would make me the most excited about that argument, that like he would be the guy based on everything else he does, his writers' workshops, like how much he tries to push and like help other authors and help highlight other people. Yep. I think he probably would do that sort of thing because he does seem like a really great guy who just loves the genre and loves literature.
Well, after his Kickstarter, him and his team sat down for like, I don't know, was it 2 hours, and just went and funded every project they could find that was fantasy based. Yeah, on Kickstarter, they just funded a whole bunch. I think it ended up being like 300 some odd projects they funded. Yeah, it's like
the last piece of there that I want to put out is just that, like, the reason I think that is because Amazon pulled out of Auckland, and they left brand new studios vacant that no one's using still, and that Auckland doesn't know what to do with in New Zealand. And so like it's there too. So all the pieces have been in place for someone to step in and do that, including the infrastructure.
Imagine Sanderson goes in and just literally walking over the corpse of an Amazon failed fantasy adaptation and just knocks it out of the park with just something that's actually true and actually good. Oh man, I'd love that. I would love it.
I mean, there's setting up a studio, you know, the brick and mortar or whatever is one thing, but the recruiting the talent, the behind the camera talent, is just such a massive amount of work. Like that kills new studios far more than capital funding.
That's true, but in this case, people moved to Auckland from all over New Zealand and with a 5-year commitment from Amazon that they were going to have a job for 5 years. So the talent moved there and then got fired.
Yeah. We got the timing was right. Again in the chat here, pointing out that he's watching this while he goes to do DoorDash. So I think that means you're going to go drive for DoorDash. Maybe. Yeah. If so, I don't know. Be careful messaging and driving.
No, he's
disclaimer.
Another person having a little bit of a rough time. He's having to DoorDash again. He had some rough luck. So be safe DoorDashing, sir.
For sure. Be safe. And we will not hold it against you if you got to log off here to focus on the road, all that kind of stuff. All right.
This is a weird group of people on the screen here. I'm not sure where
the next thing I got up here.
Chloe, is this for Kick-Ass? Like, why is she here? Sorry. Go ahead.
So this is the Saturn Awards. This is their website. I got this up because the Saturn Awards, it's been going on 50 years. This is the 50th one. You see some of the previous award winners. That's the weird assortment of people at the top. And let's see, August 15th, so literally tomorrow, the Saturn Awards are going to be started to vote on, right? So they're going into voting. And I'm going to scroll all the way down here, right where it deserves to be, and look up, let's see, Best Fantasy Series Streaming, because they split those up. And you guys can see there that we got Loki, Russian Doll, Schmigadoon. Anybody know what that is?
No, I don't know.
It's a Netflix property that's more spoof than fantasy.
Okay. WandaVision, The Wheel of Time, and The Witcher. So for Best Fantasy Series Streaming, we got The Wheel of Time going up against Loki, 2 shows that I never watched, WandaVision, Wheel of Time, and The Witcher. Have any of you guys heard of the Saturn Awards before?
Not really.
I've seen it. No. The only thing that I know that I think I've seen it on is I think I've seen a copy of Ender's Game with like Saturn and Hugo Award winner on the cover. That's the only thing I think I've seen it.
I had to look it up a little bit. It is mostly a science fiction fantasy award. It has been around for, like I said, about 50 years. So it's a while. So it's not nothing. I did have to verify that it's not the Razzies because anytime I see Wheel of Time nominated for something, I assume the Razzies.
Look at these lists too. It's like they just grabbed everything that aired in the last year and put it on a list. Because I mean, you got just above it, Lost in Space, Mandalorian, Orville, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek News. You know, it's like, okay, well, that's everything that's been on TV.
So Star Trek Discovery got nominated for Best Sci-Fi Series.
So you actually hit exactly onto what I was going to say next. That like one of the criticisms of the Saturn Award is that they are maybe not particularly exclusive, we'll call it.
They just picked it. It's like, okay, what aired this year? Let's just put them up there. I mean, who picks the winners, by the way? Is there like a council or something?
Yeah, good question.
I looked at that before. I think it's one of those sort of like trade group kind of insider things, similar to like the Oscars, whatever, is like just a group of people who, you know, kind of they set themselves up. It is, here you go. The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films is the group. And it's just a nonprofit from 1972. So like I said, they've been around for a while. It's got some information about who heads it. I don't know any of these people's names.
Yeah, nonprofit. Yeah. Where's it going?
Yeah.
Cruella is a fantasy film?
Is it?
Where did you see that?
It says, scroll up a little bit.
Cruella, go up a little. Best fantasy film, Cruella. Oh my god.
Okay, so I think we've probably identified then the quality that we're working with here.
I've heard of them, and I knew about them only because I was an Orphan Black fan, and this was usually the only people acknowledging it as a good show until Tatiana Maslany won an Emmy for that show. So I only knew about it because of that, and that's only because she's from Canada, and so I followed her career a bit.
Hey, but what do we think about the top nom in Best Action Adventure Film there?
It should win. Well,
Top Gun Maverick's in there.
No, I didn't see Maverick in there. Maverick's in there, so that's actually one that could have a tough choice right there. Those two are
Triple R
from Zaxx. You do a fair amount of coverage on kind of Indian cinema, stuff like that on your channel, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So you're saying Triple R? I'm assuming everyone's seen Top Gun Maverick.
I loved that movie.
It was great.
It was pretty good. Very good. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is basically going into the next article, which is that we still don't have a release date for the Wheel of Time. So there was a Television Critic Association Summer Press Tour. That's the same one that we got those quotes related to both the Rings of Power and the House of the Dragon stuff. Those quotes and those articles were based on the same press conventions. And this article is basically just saying, so Amazon was there and they just got nominated for an award, whether or not it's a particularly prestigious award, right? So Wheel of Time season 1 got nominated, and they don't mention that it got nominated, and they don't talk about the release of season 2. Thoughts on like how low under the radar? I mean, I feel like Amazon is pushing so low under the radar that they are acknowledging the greatness of Top Gun Maverick at this point.
Actively campaigning for Paramount.
Yeah.
You know what? They'd be smart to release Wheel of Time somewhere between House of the Dragon and Rings of Power. Just slowly put it out there.
Just sneak it out.
Yeah.
It's like, by the way, we released this pile of garbage in between the other.
Just do the equivalent. Have you guys seen that old, like, this is super old kind of internet video where like, someone is like, doing a video conference on the screen, and like in the background you see their dog just walks into the room and starts taking a shit on the floor.
Yeah.
and just pull the equivalent where they just sort of sneak into the background and just shit all over everything.
Yeah. We're like, oh wait, what's that? We have no time to focus on this right now. So yeah.
No, well, it's just like, why did this shit pile get bigger? What happened? Like, I was like, oh shit, Wheel of Time's in there. When did that happen? The shit
Speaking of
pile
that,
grew.
have you guys all seen the meme for Rings of Power with the guy shitting on your dinner plate?
Yeah. How do you know it's shit?
Oh,
No,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that. That was good.
Goodness.
Oh my god.
So
I don't know.
Zaxx, Saturn
Yeah,
Award
sorry.
question for you. I feel like KGF Chapter 2 is getting overlooked a little bit. There's a lot of love for RRR, but I've seen none for KGF. What are your thoughts?
I haven't seen Chapter 2 yet. I've only seen Chapter 1. Chapter 1 was, yeah, I know. Chapter 1 was good. It's a different kind of a movie. You have to kind of.
Can you kind of talk around it for us a little bit? I will admit I haven't seen either one, although based on Alex's reaction, I think I obviously have to go watch it. But you're the expert in the chat here, so what do we got?
Well, Triple R is a complete film. So, and it's 3 hours, beginning to end. So that's, to me, it's the better. And KGF is very different. And I've only watched Chapter 1, so Chapter 2 is where it really kicks off, because Chapter 1 is almost like a prelude. It seems like. Am I wrong, Alex, on that?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay. You know what's going to go crazy after this, and it's a different kind of a world building, and you have to kind of watch it with an open mind and just try to absorb it, especially Chapter 1, because it doesn't tell the story the way you're expecting the story to be told, but it's still a good story, and it has some amazing action. So I would still say between Chapter 1 and Triple R, I'm going to go Triple R every time, and I can't be fair about, I can't be fair about Chapter 2 because I haven't seen it yet, but I will be seeing it soon.
Okay.
So there is a scene in Chapter 2 that I will put in my highest pantheon of scenes, in like up there with some of the best ever, and you'll know it when you see it. But all right, I was just curious if you've seen Chapter 2 yet, because it's better than Chapter 1.
Hey Zaxx, can you break something down for me? So I saw an article just the other day, and this is revealing a lack of knowledge on my part of like what kind of Indian cinema is. It was saying that Triple R or RRR, however you want to say it, I like Triple R now that I've heard someone use it that way, so I'm going to steal that. Is not actually a Bollywood film. It was made in sort of like the new kind of film center that is now like competing with it. So what's sort of the breakdown there? Like what's happening in Indian cinema? I know I'm just honestly personally interested, and then I have a follow-up question based on our last live stream.
Okay, there's it's in Telugu, it's the language it's been filmed in, and so that's kind of how some of it breaks down. I think there's 6 main languages that they use in India. Tamil, Canada is one with a K, Hindi, Telugu, and there's one that I can never remember, Malayan, something like that. And so this is, and you could call it Tollywood, but they hate when you say Tollywood when you're talking about the Triple R region, and it's a different part of the country, and there's a lot of north-south competition between the different factions, and I've learned now a lot of the factions don't get along with each other, so they're as bad as us in that sense, in that they're if there's the northern people who like their northern productions, and that's more of a Bollywood look, and the south, which is more of the Hollywood, quote unquote. But people started using things like Mollywood, Collywood, and Indian people don't like that. They prefer to call it they prefer you to use Indian cinema as a term, as a general term, because it's more unifying, as opposed to regional. And so yes, it's a different area, and they tell different types of stories. The quote unquote the Hollywood area, it tends to be more of the epic and the action based storytelling that we are probably going to be more drawn to, and Bollywood, and they have generally less or different types of dance and music into their films, less romance. So Bollywood does more of the they'll do more of the what you expect from Bollywood, I suppose, but also stories that are more performance based. Like they'll do I watched Sardar Udham is one I watched from that region, which is a true story about an Indian patriot, and it was a very slow pace but great story, well told, with good acting, and not over the top at all.
I will accept Daniel's criticism against me here, by the way.
So the way that I've heard it described is that if you were to compare it to American cinema, it would be like if Hollywood only produced big budget movies. And then, if you look at North America, the other two big filming areas are Vancouver and Atlanta or Georgia. So it'd be like if we had, instead of just Hollywood, we had Hollywood competing with Georgia, competing with Vancouver. And then, Hollywood or Bollywood is making like 1930s dinner theater musicals. Vancouver is making, television shows. And then Georgia's making sort of big budget action movies.
Yes.
That's an interesting take. And I'm now saddened and upset that we don't have that kind of competition going on in American media.
Extremely.
Dude, and they have a director, S.S. Rajamouli, who did Triple R and Bahubali 1 and 2, and Iga is another one he's done. But he's kind of taken it to the next level for that region, for the Telugu speaking region. And his favorite director is Mel Gibson. So that tells you everything you need to know, really. That's who he patterns his career after. It's not someone you've never heard of or somebody from France. It's Mel Gibson. And those are the movies he gives you.
Make a movie, man.
He can.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, what is it when in KGF Chapter 2 at one point Rocky looks dead ass into the camera and says, "Greed is good," like he's fucking Gordon Gekko. Like it's all of those are inspired by, and they're almost copies of American action movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, back when action movies from America were good.
So that leads me right into the question I was going to ask you, Zaxx. So I don't know if you caught our last live stream. It kind of went a little bit long. We had OBG70 on, and he brought up towards the end of it, and we're actually probably going to clip this, but talking about how we want Indian cinema, which I'll use that now that I know that that's kind of a better term for it. We want Indian cinema to do a remake of Wheel of Time at some point. we would love to get a triple R of just that scene where he's doing like the first scene where he breaks out of the little like kind of police station there and just starts going ham on people. If that was Perrin breaking into the center of Do Might As Well, man.
It could be wild.
If you can't get an anime, that would be the other choice, right?
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing where I fell into it just because I liked that movie. I had no other knowledge of it. I talked about it on one of my live streams to recommend it to people on the live stream, all dozen people watching, right? Thinking, well, here, try this. It's a fun movie. And then I got 85,000 views on that video, and I got like serious lessons in my comments from people in India saying, you're wrong about this, don't say that. So like I had never expected anyone outside of that room to watch that video I made, but so I've learned a ton from them, and
awesome.
There's a lot there to learn too.
I feel like that just highlights the difference between what they're doing and what we're doing. Can you imagine using the wrong terms talking about Western media and actually having people give you informative and like, instructive comments as a reply?
Nope. Just name calling.
Like it would just be screaming. Like it would just be, there would be no like good faith conversation to be had if you use the wrong labels. So
I want to just one quick thing. One of my favorite scenes in chapter 1 is when he breaks the guy's arm. Rocky does it and fixes his hair with the guy's hand. Just like perfect. I loved it. Yeah.
What a goddamn lead character in an action movie should be.
Yes. Awesome stuff.
But, all right. Well, we've kind of gone through everything that I had plugged up here. So I don't know. I mean, chat is looking like it has a good time. Daniel seems like he's saying yes, all Indian Wheel of Time, swap everyone to Indian actors. That was the point we made, that just have an Indian dude with a red wig be Rand, and everybody would love it. Nobody would complain about it at all. It would be fantastic. Man, it would be so good. What do you got coming up, Zaxx, that you want to plug people? Where can they find you? We'll put your guys' channels in the description for this video, by the way. But what do you got coming up?
Yeah, I'm releasing a quick short video tonight about reinterpreting Tolkien, so that'll be fun. I'll put that together. I'm working on a bunch of things. I always have like, you know, 8 3/4 finished videos that I'm working on, and so I'm doing a lot of that. And I've got a live streams Thursdays. So this week, what I want to do is something different. I normally do What's Good, where we look at a very fairly specific type of media, and then we kind of pick what we like from that, instead of just sort of pretending something that isn't good is good, which a lot of people do, where they argue about Kenobi, where it's obviously it's a bad show, but some people say it's not as bad as it could be. I want to talk about stuff that is actually just good, and we can just talk about that. But this week I'm doing Tournament of the Arnolds, and
Oh, come on, give
Very
us some
good.
more. You can't
Very
just
good.
say Tournament of the Arnolds and then give no information.
Tournament of the Arnolds.
yeah,
Perfect.
I'm gonna have as many Arnold Schwarzenegger characters as I can put into a bracket system, and then we're gonna vote on single elimination tournament, and the chat's gonna vote as well. So we'll have our vote. We can take either side, debate a bit. Then the chat's gonna vote in a poll, and then whoever goes through. And there may be some surprise Arnolds in there, like maybe from different strokes who you weren't expecting.
So is
Nice.
it going to be which character would beat, which one in a fight, or is it which is the best franchise?
Fight.
Fight?
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yep.
Mm.
All right.
Gonna
Are
be
you
tough to
gonna
beat the
give us a
800,
taste?
but
You're gonna give us a taste here. What's just give us one of. You don't have to say where it would fall in the top 10 or so. Just
Dutch
give
wins.
us.
That's it.
Just give us Zaxx's sort of put a card on the table. What do you think is a top 10 Arnold in a fight?
T800 is going to be tough to beat, I think.
Okay.
But could be beatable. Conan, I think, is going to be very tough to beat, although he doesn't have the right kind of. He doesn't have any body armor, doesn't have any weapons really.
I was going to say a sword.
It's a good weapon if you're in close. He may be the best one to take on the T800. Dutch is a badass. Yeah.
No.
Dutch and John Matrix.
John Matrix beats
John Matrix and
every
Dutch.
time.
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty. Yeah, he did have that
Oh man,
giant rocket launcher. He did blow up a whole mansion. I mean, come on,
man. I'm looking forward to this stream. This is gonna be fantastic.
So that's what we're doing. That's the show idea. Is we'll debate them and people can vote, and winner take all, I guess, whatever that be.
Man, well, hopefully you pick up another 800 subs off of this, because that sounds like it's gonna be a real blast.
I think so. Thanks.
All right, Prophet. What about you? Busy week with work, or are you thinking that you're going to be able to get some stuff out? And what are you working on?
I don't know. I got my report. We got. I don't know if we're doing a whole thing on Better Call Saul tomorrow. I'm trying to reach out with Napoleon. I know we're doing the after show. We may be doing we may do a live watch. We may do a pregame. I'm not sure. It's a little bit up in the air. I'm not sure, because this is obviously the season finale. So, he's it's been fun, and we like to put a nice little cap on it. So that's Monday. I'm my schedule sucks the rest of the week. I'm on mid shift most of the week. So it makes it a little bit hard to do anything, but might be able to get something out Monday or Tuesday, because I have some time then. So not really sure what I'm working on right now. I got to get the old brain cranking. I got a list, like I said, but sort of stagnant right now.
You buying the rumors of the Kim Drexler spinoff?
No.
Why?
Just end it. Like it's at the point. It's like, you guys are prequel. I would, if you spin off something from where you were at here, it is just pillaging. Like it'd be just like pillaging something, and just keeping it alive when it's just done. I mean, it's one of those, like Zaxx says, this is a prequel for the most part. It's a prequel. I mean, it's a prequel that started before Breaking Bad, but then is now melded into Breaking Bad, right? To have a Kim Wexler, look, I like Kim in Better Call Saul, but do I need a whole spinoff of her? No, I just don't think there's any meat on that bone, especially where they left off with her at the end of the season. She's just sort of, her arc is coming to a close. I don't need to know about young Kim Wexler or anything like that. For me, I don't know.
Daniel is he made the comment right to the heart of it. We invited Zaxx on today because Dane Bornhall couldn't make it, and we have to have one Canadian in the chat. It's contractual obligation. It's a whole thing. And he is, like you said, coming out with fun stuff constantly. I was bummed out that I wasn't able to make it over and do one of the things you had going. I think about a week ago, you asked me to come on, and I was busy with work and stuff.
The last 2 weeks I've asked you to come on. You blew me off both times.
Okay, feeling a little bit targeted there. That's probably accurate.
Triggered.
I will endeavor to do better, sir. But thank you so much for coming on with us. This has been a real blast. Alex is managing our Twitter. Have you gotten any good fights recently? Otherwise, I'll plug what we got coming out this week, and we'll end it.
No, just having a good time fighting the people trying to rewrite Tolkien. A lot of people who seemingly think they know the Second Age, and it's just shut up. No, you don't. Stop lying.
For those of you who haven't seen, again, Salty Texas Seas, Fire the Fandom. Alex is is like an OG Tolkien nerd. I mean, read The Hobbit as a tiny little kid, and got raised by a dude who was apparently at least fluent writing Elvish. So, you know,
really,
he's got Tolkien in his blood. So
nice.
Go check out that series if you haven't already. His is one of the best ones. I think it's got a ton of views on there. Like, people are really responding to what he said about the franchise. So
agreed. Happy
to hear you taking the fight to Twitter. Let's see what we are doing this week. We just filmed. So we just recorded the end of episode 5 from the Whitecloaks rewatch with OBG 70. So we got the Lan and his twisted nipples coming out this week. It is both worse and better than I think people remembered it being, and we had a blast tearing it apart. So hopefully you guys, if you haven't already, check out the rewatch that we're putting together. Those drop on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then, like Zaxx said, trying to do some positive content as well, coming out with some random other Wheel of Times books related stuff, and doing live streams, which will hopefully go more in a positive direction as some of these shows come out. And hopefully we're all proven wrong. Like, again, the 4 of us here, all of you guys in the chat, I don't think anyone would be upset if we were all wrong and these shows turned out to be great. So
I would love it. I want more good TV, more good movies. I love movies and TV. I want it all. Yeah.
It's awesome when we get to talk about something we like. Like, I miss that tremendously.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being a curmudgeon.
Well, look. Let's before not to, but that's why we found. I mean, Zaxx, I watched RRR because of you. That's why you found that. You're looking for stuff. You know, Squid Game. Yeah, you know, that's why that got big. You know, there's all. We're looking. We're actively for stuff that we want to watch, and they are just failing.
That is a good point. I think I got Triple R off of either Zaxx or one of the other maybe live streams that talked about your recommending it. I don't remember which one I saw first, but yeah, I mean, there are still good things that come out. We are still talking about them and trying to highlight them. We're just tired of being right so often. That was what you were saying, Steve, right?
Yeah. Just prove us wrong, and we'd be glad to say, man, that is so much better than I thought it was going to be. I love saying that.
We're so desperate for good content. People are pretending Prey isn't terrible. Like,
yes. Okay, I haven't seen it, but yes,
I haven't seen it either. What is Critical Drinkers review of it? It's like, it's actually not that bad. It's like,
I think he gave it what could probably fairly be like a B-, where it was like, it's not a good movie, but like at this point, being not a bad movie is the bar.
I have to watch it. I haven't seen it, but if it doesn't end with the Predator killing everybody, then what the hell are we talking about?
Apparently, they give the Predator. The Predator has less sophisticated weapons than it had in the originals.
Still has a cannon. So I saw him shoot it. Game over.
I don't think he doesn't have high tech stuff. I think he's shooting like projectile stuff. So they brought it down a little bit. I still think you're right. Real talk. Yeah, everybody's dead. but at least they didn't try and just like space laser guns versus a bow and arrow and try and make that believable.
Yeah.
So Daniel's saying that he watched it. We'll pull that here before we go.
Yeah, I remember him saying that before. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. Prophet, Zaxx. I think you guys got anyone you want to call out in particular for coming out to support?
Well, no, I mean the chat's always awesome. So Mags, it's good talking to
I was
you
gonna
last
say happy
night.
birthday, Mags. I didn't know that
Yeah,
it was your
happy birthday, Mags. Daniel, always good to see you. Matt, always around. Good to see all of you.
Couple new faces in the chat for me, so thank you, Zaxx and Prophet, for bringing over hopefully new Whitecloaks.
Yeah. Megs, thanks for coming out on your birthday. I released a Daniel cut. I want to see one of those reviews, Daniel, of you trashing Prey.
Hell yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. And Roman of the Empire, he's going to be on with me on Thursday. I want to start doing a thing so this could be for you guys as well if you want. If you get back to me in the future, where I want to feature
don't shoot.
A smaller channel every week on my show, and smaller being like a relative, right? I'm not a big channel, I know that, but so Roman's going to come on with John, the creative blue collar guy, this week and be the featured channel as part of the show. So, so that would be a good spot for you guys as well, and at some point if you want.
Well, I will not be offended by being called a small channel. That is fair.
I'm a small channel. It's just relative.
Hopefully we're a fun channel. That's what we aim for.
Very fun.
But yeah, so thank you everybody in the chat. Thanks, Prophet. Thanks, Zaxx, for coming out. Had a blast. And everybody, walk in the light.